Over the last 25 years, we had worked to move to more mobile electronic control solutions, not just dealing with hydraulics from a valving standpoint, but also taking that and saying, okay, how do you take the control system and integrate it with the electronic system such that it's seamless and works for the operator in a functional way. And a lot of times that just starts with something as simple as somebody calls you or you propose a joystick. So we got into joysticks very hard, and that ramped up, and even to this day, joysticks are still one of our largest inquiries in terms of solutions, because joysticks are very unique for every machine. So what that ends up doing though is that once you get into what do you want on the joystick in terms of an ergonomic feel, the customer then goes, well, I want these 8 things, or sometimes they say I want 23 things on the joystick, which just isn't functional. And so what ends up happening is, even though the request really was a joystick, what they really need is a more integrated system approach for the operator to take into account other things, whether that be outriggers or that's lights or other aspects of the machine. And what we're really trying to do is show the customer that you can take all these items, instead of being very difficult for somebody not to see, they can have it right at their fingertips fairly closely, and they can deal with it without having to stop looking at the production. And a lot of that then just morphs, right? Because then what ends up happening is you've developed this joystick, and then they go, well, I got to put it into something, I need to integrate it. And then that leads into, what are you sending that communication to? You try to minimize connections, you try to minimize wire count, you try to minimize pin count. And the best way to do that is through J1939 CAN communication. And then what that means is now the whole seat assembly really, it's got maybe 40 wires on it, but when we go back to the controller, it's got 6. But the bigger point of all that is that you can now make that wire count significantly less, which is really huge, right? Because now the harnesses cost less, there's less chance of failure mode because you just don't have as many pins. So if you can see, it just cascades, right? And so what happens is the customer then goes, well, then I need a controller, I need to figure out how to interpret that, I need to monitor the engine, I need to monitor the transmission, I need to know if the temperature of the tank is too high. But at the end, it has to be structured for a cost-effective solution for the customer, has to be focused heavily on market share. How is this going to help them? How does it help the operator? How does it create better production? Do we get better uptime because we do it? Do we have a safer environment? That's really the value streams. And it all starts from hey, I need a joystick.